Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be going to PlantCon Houston 2025. This is day one, part 2 of my coverage. As always, please make sure you are pressing that thumbs up or like button for this video. It definitely helps push this content out to more plant lovers like yourself, as well as give me a follow on Instagram at Grow Folds. I'd really love to connect with all of you guys, but as you can see right here, this is my second installment of my detailed coverage of PlantCon 2025 in Houston, Texas. So there's going to be many more vendors that I will feature. This was a huge success, and I want to take you alongside with me as I feature many of the vendors at PlantCon. For me as a content creator, it is important to really celebrate the vendors and the hard work that they put in, and shout out to the PlantCon staff and team and all of the sponsors, as well as all of the volunteers that really made this possible. And speaking of sponsors, I did want to talk about Classy Rabbit Soil. It is a local small business located out in McKinney, Texas. They were a sponsor of PlantCon 2025 in Houston. Shout out to Nate and the team for being a vendor as well as a sponsor for PlantCon Houston. Thank you so much for that. And as you can see right here, Plant Foldies, I am showing you the amazing soil from Classy Rabbit. If you haven't heard about Classy Rabbit is a soil that is 100% naturally sourced. It utilizes rabbit manure, and I just absolutely love this soil. For somebody like me that really has given up on soil substrates, I went back to using soil to pot up a lot of my plants, like this Aglaonema, for instance. And the reason being is Classy Rabbit soil is a soil that is super chunky, fast draining. It is a complete soil. I love the ingredients that it has. It has compost food waste, as well as rice hulls, pumice, rabbit manure, and some mycorrhizae, which really helps establish a lot of the roots of the plant. And that's really what you want in a soil substrate. It is fast draining, but it also retains moisture as well. And it has been a lifesaver for a lot of my plants. A lot of my plants I get from overseas, and you'll see that throughout the PlantCon 2025 Houston plant haul that I will feature. I have a couple more plant haul videos, so stay tuned for that. But you can see right here, this is the Classy Rabbit soil, and as I finish up the potting, you can see how fast draining it is. If you haven't already bought your soil for Classy Rabbit, they do offer free shipping. Please visit classyrabbit.com. They were a major sponsor for PlantCon Houston 2025, and I am just really excited to really uplift and create awareness about this amazing product. The DFW, or the Dallas-Fort Worth area, has a really strong local community, and we were out there representing full force at PlantCon. I am super excited to be going to PlantCon Dallas as well later this year. But if you haven't heard about Classy Rabbit, buy your bag of Classy Rabbit. Go to classyrabbit.com. Again, they do offer free shipping depending on your orders. And my question is, why have you not pooped on your plants today? You must do it. You must poop on all of your plants. I love pooping on my plants because my plants just love that rabbit poop. Hopefully you guys will check this out. This is an amazing soil substrate. It is pretty versatile. It's a complete soil, and I think every plant lover that goes to PlantCon needs to get it. And speaking of my plant lovers, here with my plant foldie, we just met at PlantCon. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the plant foldies.
Hey, I'm Maria. I'm out of Memphis, Tennessee. And
Boom. So Maria, I'm gonna go ahead and look at your haul. What is going on here? Right, we got a Syngonium frosted heart.
We do. And I do have a lot of Aglaonema.
So okay, I'm gonna give you a hard time because if you didn't buy that Aglaonema.
No, I'm coming back for the Aglaonema.
Okay. Hey, I already scouted out the Aglaonema pricing. Just FYI, we about to get a deal.
Oh.
For you.
Thank you.
You know I stay hustling.
I love it. So I'm excited about this one. So
yeah, the Syngonium frosted. Yep.
And then
Starlight.
This is one on my list.
So are you trying to be the Syngonium queen? You trying to take Steve of I Live Plants' power?
That's why I was like, where is he?
He gonna be here. And then you got a Philodendron pink princess.
I got a PPP. Yeah, this is for my friend.
I love it, Marie.
Yeah, Maria.
All right. So you got an Aglaonema at where? Pita's? Shout out to Maria, one of the plant foldies that I met in person while at PlantCon 2025, Houston, Texas. You can see that this is one of the premier booths. This is Pita's Planters, and if you are a plant foldie, and for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. You can see that Pita's Planters has made a grand appearance at Houston PlantCon, and I'm super excited to announce that for the Dallas PlantCon, we are working on getting a huge pre-party for the plant foldies, for all the cultivators, for Dallas. So I'm hoping that for those that continue to watch my YouTube channel, as well as my friends Janae, Simone, and Steven of Island Plants, the cultivation corner crew, you guys will also make a trip to Dallas PlantCon later this year. But you can see right here, Maria. Again, I just wanted to shout you out. Thank you for making my trip to PlantCon Houston amazing. It is not only about the plants, the vendors, but it's always about the people that make it to these events. And you know, for me to be able to visit and meet all of these plant foldies that tune in to watch my content, I really appreciate it. And so does Pita, because a lot of the plant foldies ended up buying plants at Pita's Planters. Shout out to all of you guys that really made it to Pita's Planters. As you can see right here, she's got a plethora of definite rare and uncommon plants, cost-effective plants, budget-friendly plants. That is the thing about Pita's Planters. She is able to ship. So if you guys miss Pita's Planters at PlantCon and you do not live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you can always shop Pita's Planters on pitasplanters.com. She also has live selling, which sometimes I have participated in, and she is able to ship to you guys. And look at this right here, variegated Philodendron gloriosum, for instance. And that's the thing about PlantCon, the fact that this show just has so many amazing rare and uncommon plants that you would not typically see at big box stores, for instance. It is one huge celebration, and I am just really happy that I've been able to make it to all of the PlantCons so far. I'm hoping that I can also make it to the New York City, because there are many plant foldies there. And like I said again, in terms of the plant foldies or the viewers that watch my channel, I was really taken back by many of you guys, because I didn't even realize that you guys would recognize me. Oftentimes when you guys did approach me, it's because you heard me talk, and you guys mentioned that my voice was very recognizable. So again, thank you for making me feel seen, valued, and appreciated. It is you, the viewer, the plant foldie, that really makes creating plant content a lot of fun for me. This is a lot of work, but you know, as far as making these plant content, again, it is all about the plants. It is all about the community we create. And I mean, you guys haven't really seen me in person, faceless or maskless, but for those that ran into me, I mean, let me know in the comments what you thought of me in person. Hopefully I didn't talk your ear off, because as you already know, I will probably talk to you guys for a good hour and a half, 2 hours today, because this is a very detailed special detailing PlantCon Houston 2025. There are a lot of content creators out there, and for me, everybody has their own niche, their own way of presenting things. This is the only way I know to present PlantCon, and that's just me featuring some of the vendors I really love. And for those that didn't get featured, it's not that I didn't want to just feature the vendors. There were just so many vendors. There were over 200 different vendors, and I was only able to go to PlantCon Houston for just half a day. Normally it's a 2-day event where I'm able to feature all the other vendors, but for Houston, you already know I could not feature Pita's Planters. I definitely wanted to feature her booth as one of the first booths, and also wanted to talk about Classy Rabbit Soil. If you guys didn't know, Classy Rabbit Soil was a sponsor for PlantCon Houston 2025. For anybody that is out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, for anybody that wants to support local businesses, support Pita's Planters, because you can see she has all of these rare variegated plants. If you are looking for variegated Alocasia, Philodendrons, Hoyas, and definitely she is the queen of Aglaonemas in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Go to Pita's Planters, and if you want amazing, really great soil that I cannot stop raving about, you must poop on your plants and buy Classy Rabbit soil. Go to classyrabbit.com. I am not an official PlantCon ambassador, but I will tell you, I am all about making sure that these vendors get the publicity, the shout outs, and all of the awareness of what plants they are bringing and what they can sell. So hopefully my content will also lift the views for these vendors and also get you guys some sales, because I mean, Pita's planters, like I said, variegated Alocasia stingray, she's got some unicorn plants. And you know, as far as just creating this content, you already know that the plant foldy community is all about that positivity. So I do ask anybody that has discovered my channel, if you like this type of content, number one, please make sure you are pressing the subscribe button with all the notification bell on. Number two, leave some positive comments for the vendors. You don't even have to leave any comments for me specifically, but for any of the vendors that are on this video, I really want them to see how positive the plant community it is. It is very important for me to foster that type of behavior with this this content. But as far as Pita's planters, Pita, thank you so much for having me be one of your helpers at PlantCon 2025 in Houston. It is a lot of work, but you know, all of that work pays off when you are able to connect many people that have the same passion and love for plants. I mean, I would even describe Pita's planters, even though I am definitely partial to her shop as being one of the most versatile, one of the most diverse selections of plant booths out in the PlantCon. It makes me really proud to say that I live out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, especially when you have vendors as kind and as humble as Pita. So please, for those that are watching this PlantCon video, give a follow to at Pita's Planters. If you are in the local Dallas-Fort Worth area, make a trip out to her plant shop out in Dallas, Texas, and tune into the live selling, because my plant podcast co-host Janae Simone and Steven of I Live Plants, we all were able to finally make it to a PlantCon. We had so much fun. And you know, when I speak for Cultivation Corner, I am definitely speaking for Janae Simone and Steven of I Live Plants. Thank you to the cultivators, all of our collective viewers that pretty much watch all of our channels, for making us truly feel appreciated, because you guys have given us words of encouragement. And that really resonated with me very much so, because when I left PlantCon, it just reminded me how strong our community is, how positive our community is, and how much you guys have embraced me as an individual to be my most authentic self. I definitely am not the biggest plant influencer out there. I really don't even think I'm an influencer. If anything, the only thing I'm trying to influence you guys is to, you know, spread kindness on social media, be mindful of our presence on social media, as well as hashtag popularizing Aglaonema. But as you can see right here, Pita's Planters, the excitement in my voice to feature her booth on day one, part two, you can see she's got a plethora of philodendrons, different types of Hoyas, different types of variegated aroids, and obviously the Aglaonema. And I have to say, I'm so glad that I was able to sell some Aglaonema to some more plant foldies, because I feel like, you know, that's something that is very special to me. And then now we're going to be going to Hypnotic houseplants. So Hypnotic's houseplants is actually another plant shop / nursery based out in the Fort Hood, Killeen, Texas area. So I love that they were able to make it down to Houston, Texas. And let me tell you this, because I am a proud Filipino American, this is also another Filipino American based business, and they have so many amazing plants. So they've got a lot of Syngoniums, they've got a lot of Epipremnum pinnatum, different types of pothos, and some philodendrons. They've got alocasia, they've got a lot of variegated plants. And so for me, if you want some of these more uncommon starter plants, this is a booth that you want to go to. Now, Hypnotic Plants Houseplants also sells on Palm Street. Definitely follow them on Instagram at Hypnotic Plants. Let them know you are a plant foldy, because you know what? For every single vendor that makes it to PlantCon, kudos to the vendors, because you have to think that the amount of work placed into growing these plants, getting them put into some type of truck or vehicle to be hauled over to a plant setup like PlantCon 2025 Houston, that is a lot of work. And hopefully we can translate that work to patronage, sales, positivity, and just being able to celebrate the plants. Now, this is an Epipremnum aureum resort, or what you call a Japanese pothos by the Teruno World Series. So Hypnotic Plants actually has these available. I have been trying to collect more of these Japanese pothos. I actually have Epipremnum aureum resort. It is a beautiful variegated pothos. The more light you give it, it's going to be more of that yellowish color. And you see right here, this is Epipremnum aureum Shalala, which is another Teruno World Series pothos. This one is also being sold by Hypnotic Plants. I'm just going to go ahead and walk around, pick up their selection of Syngoniums, pothos, alocasia, philodendron. And that's the thing about PlantCon. For any plant lover, you will find a plant that really fits your space, your love for plants, and your plant aesthetic. So let's just go ahead and take a look at some of the plants featured by Hypnotic houseplants. Hypnotic's houseplants just has so many amazing Epipremnum pinnatum, Epipremnum aureum, and Syngoniums. I'm just featuring a lot of these, and a lot of them are the Teruno World Series pothos plants. I am curious for those that actually collect pothos, if you've gotten a lot of these Japanese pothos. They're a little bit harder to go by, and later on in this video you will see D&M Secret Garden, which is really one of the pioneers of being able to bring the Teruno World Series pothos or Japanese pothos to the United States. But that's the thing about going to a plant show such as PlantCon. You are able to see a lot of plants that you may not typically see, and I also love the fact that you get to meet the vendors, the people that have taken a lot of their time to grow out these plants. I know that a lot of the vendors that I bought from were mostly from the international vendors, just because I love Aglaonema and they just tend to have more of a selection of Aglaonema. But if you are into like Epipremnum aureum or pothos plants, Hypnotic houseplants is where you need to be buying your plants as well. Again, they do sell on Palm Street, as well as if you haven't already followed their Instagram at Hypnotic houseplants, you can probably send them a direct message. And you can see right here, Epipremnum aureum Punsin Manjula. So Punsin is a nursery out in Thailand, and that is another sport variegation or mutated version of a Manjula pothos that eventually had that stability. But you can see right there as I pan away, hypnotic houseplants. It's definitely hypnotic. It definitely makes you want to buy plants. I mean, take a look at that beautiful philodendron. I think that might be a philodendron Florida Beauty crossed with a tortum. I'm not 100% sure, but this being a Filipino-based business, you can see this is an Epipremnum pinnatum lalajon, which is another Epipremnum pinnatum that is from the Philippines. And here's the thing, what makes me proud to be Filipino American is all of these rare plants. All of these plants that we are spending tons and tons of money on, just know a lot of these plants come from Southeast Asia, especially the Philippines. So all of these rare aroids, philodendrons, monsteras, definitely aglaonemas, Scindapsus, Epipremnum pinnatums, those can be sourced out from like my family's home country, which is the Philippines. And speaking of Syngoniums, take a look at this Syngonium Strawberry Ice Galaxy. I love this Syngonium. The only thing I would say about this Syngonium is you really want to get something with really good genetics, like this initial genetics, because you can see that the variation of pink variegation varies from every type of strawberry ice. This one's just a strawberry ice Syngonium, not the Galaxy version. And as far as Syngoniums, I love them. As far as the care tips for Syngonium, just make sure you do not leave them dry for too long, because that's when you start to run in issues. For me, I have to find more plants that are a little bit more drought tolerant, something like a Sansevieria, even an Aglaonema. But I've started to discover a lot of my Aglaonema that I collect, more of the more colorful ones that I get from Indonesia and Thailand, they tend to need to be watered a little bit more frequently. So, you know, a couple of tidbits about that. Now, my thoughts about the vendors at PlantCon 2025 in Houston, I would just say that there was just so many vendors. And to me, seeing the growth of Houston PlantCon and just PlantCon in general is just amazing. It has exponentially grown within the past year. And I can just see it becoming even bigger and bigger, and maybe even become an international show where they might be able to stage an international plant con somewhere outside of the United States. I would definitely want to be part of that, or definitely see that. You know, for me, my contribution to trying to get the awareness or growth of PlantCon is just to create these long format content videos. You know, as far as PlantCon, you know, people ask me all the time if they sponsor me to create these videos. And no, I do this because I want to make sure that the plant foldies get access to being able to see a plant show as big as PlantCon. And there's just a lot of vendors and people that I truly want to support. And I feel like just being able to pick up plants for a good hour, hour and a half, to give you guys that experience, even though it's not in person, is enough to really create that influence to where people are supported and you're able to really see these gorgeous plants. It brings me a lot of joy and honor for anybody that actually compliments me on my work, because at the end of the day, at least for my social media presence, it's not really all about me and me, you know, the content is not basically centered around me as an individual. It's more centered around fostering the plant foldy community and definitely giving highlight to the vendors and also the plants that are being featured, because I think that that's important. Sometimes, you know, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent, but sometimes I feel like when we make content creation, sometimes it becomes more centric to the individual, especially if it's not really all about the individual. It should be about the plants and the people that are growing the plants. And so as far as all of the vendors today, you can see we are seeing a plethora of different ones. Like this is the Green Room Planter. This one's an international vendor. And what is up to Steven of I Live Plants? You know, we were just talking about content creation, and for us, the Cultivation Corner crew, we definitely wanted to feature a lot of the vendors and plants today. I think, in my honest opinion, that is more impactful way of actually being an influencer, is to just showcase the plants and make sure that the vendors get that airtime. And speaking of airtime, guys, plant foldies, take a look at this. Aglaonemas, and you can see that that is an Aglaonema red sucksum. We've got an Aglaonema cum, and all of these international vendors, what you have to realize is whenever you're getting plants from an international vendor, they cannot be in soil substrate. So all of these plants were actually handpicked, and there was a lot of care and process to get these plants to an international plant show like PlantCon. So things that you guys may not know is that these plants had to be getting a phytosanitary certificate, which means these plants cannot be shipped in soil. There are strict regulations to make sure that there's no soil, that these are pest free, and that they are shipped and healthy to go. I mean, this one right here, Aglaonema tricolor, for instance, these are the plants that I want to really talk about and influence you guys into looking at, because whenever you go to PlantCon, everybody, and this isn't to offend anybody, but really everybody is gravitating to Anthuriums, variegated Monsteras, Hoyas, variegated Alocasias. But how about the Aglaonemas? Can we please get a like, a comment, something for these Aglaonemas? Because for me, it is all about really uplifting and really just getting that excitement for the underdog, right? I've always been somebody that wants to cheer for the one that's not the loudest in the room, but has the most impact in the presence. And when you peel away, look at how gorgeous these plants are. Now, maybe, just maybe, if I just talk your ear off and more people start to show Aglaonema, maybe in the United States, the market will be a little bit more open to getting more of these plants, because you can see right here, I can guarantee you most of y'all have never seen these colorful Aglaonema at a big box store, more so not even in certain plant nurseries or shops. So for me, like this Aglaonema orange stardust, gorgeous plant. I love the orange color. These are, again, Aglaonema from Thailand. So these are import plants. Whenever you go to a plant show like PlantCon, whenever you're getting an imported plant, know that there is an acclimation period. What people don't understand is these plants have just traveled more than 10,000 miles, for instance, to get to the United States. They are in sphagnum moss. The roots are dehydrated. They've been in some type of air cargo shipment, and the plant is a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stress. And to me, it's really impressive to see that these plants are still healthy looking. What you want to do is remove the sphagnum moss from the plants. Rehydrate the roots, let them sit there for a good 24 to 72 hours and assess whether you want to put it in a substrate such as soil. And I would actually recommend using classy rabbit soil. Again, I will be the person that is going to be the hype person, somebody that is going to just make sure you know that Classy Rabbit was actually one of the sponsors at PlantCon 2025. I am going to be that ambassador for PlantCon's Classy Rabbit soil, because I just love Classy Rabbit soil, and somebody that lives out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you know, we have to take care of our own and our local businesses there. But you can see right here, this is another amazing Houston-based nursery. This one is Rad Roots, and I actually ran into Rad Roots when I was at the Texas Aroid show. This is another amazing nursery that really has a huge selection of Anthuriums. So we were just talking about how Anthuriums are probably the most popular collector plant aside from the variegated like Philodendrons and Monsteras. Many people are really into Anthuriums, and I can understand why, because there's a couple of things that I can appreciate about Anthuriums. It's the minute details of the leaf shape, the hybridization process where you can create your own crosses. There are lineage of Anthuriums that people really follow. And, you know, as far as Rad Roots, again, follow them on their socials, Instagram. They also sell on Palm Street. They are able to ship, I believe. And if you are an Anthurium lover, this is the one seller, one of the vendors I would recommend going if you ever go to future PlantCon. So I'm just going to walk around here and show you and feature you the Anthuriums, because for me, I wasn't able to get all of the Anthurium names of these specific Anthurium crosses, and I don't want to butcher anything, because I know that if anybody butchers, say, my favorite plant genus Aglaonema names, I get slightly triggered. So for me, I'm just gonna let you enjoy the beauty of these gorgeous Anthuriums. I love the fact that this is one of the Anthuriums that I eventually want to get. This is so gorgeous. And if you guys look at Rad Roots nursery, I mean, just look at all of the different types of Anthuriums. I do believe that they got a couple of crosses and hybrids that they are currently producing. And to me, that is just amazing. And I eventually want to get into Anthuriums. So for those that are into Anthuriums or know the care tips for Anthuriums, please leave that in the comment section. And also please leave some shout outs to Rad Roots, Plant Foldies. I'm asking y'all, especially those that are loyal Plant Foldies, that the comment section be filled with lots of positivity and just kindness for these vendors, because at the end of the day, these vendors are what makes our plant dreams come true. I mean, you can see right here, Steven is in the background filming some content as well. You know, shout out to Steven for taking Janae down to PlantCon 2025 in Houston. I know that you guys have been looking forward to watching, but we'll see if we can actually get season 3 together. Now, those that have not watched any Cultivation Corner plant podcast, please search YouTube Cultivation Corner. We've got seasons 1 and 2. I'd love for you guys to hashtag team replay it as well. Until we can get season 3, it's going to premiere sometime in the fall with Janae, Simone, and Steven of I Live Plants. But as we finish up looking at Rad Roots Nursery, you can just see that they've got so many different types of Anthuriums. If I didn't know any better, I would have ended up being one of those people that are just obsessed with Anthuriums. Now, in terms of another amazing vendor, Nirvana Tropicals. So if you haven't heard of Nirvana Tropicals, where have you been? Because Nirvana Tropicals is another Houston-based nursery that specializes in a lot of philodendron hybrids. They have their own Nirvana Tropicals hybrids of philodendron. I happen to get a couple, and then you can just see right here, they've got an amazing setup. I've seen Nirvana Tropicals 3 times already, and you can see Cebu Blue Aurea. These are for $25, or Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue Aurea. Again, that is just another variation of the Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu Blue, and you can see right over here, they just have such a beautiful setup, and to me, they've got really good cost-effective plant pricing. I do believe Nirvana Tropicals also sells on Palm Street. Please follow them on Instagram at Nirvana Tropicals. It is all about making sure that we are really supporting these vendors, because the people behind these plants is what really makes these plants special. I happen to have gotten to know the owners a little bit more so over the past year. They've been able to ship out a plant to me actually, and I am all about trying to collect some of their more their hybrids of philodendron. And you can see I'm just taking a little bit of time, a little slow time, slow-mo on some of these plants right here, because they are absolutely stunning. And even the presentation of their philodendron, you can see that there is some leaf shine. Everything is really curated. That is what I love about Nirvana Tropicals, alongside with the selection of plants that they have. So if they continue to go to plant cons and show, that is another vendor that I would highly recommend checking out, buying plants. And, you know, for those that are just making it to this video, thank you again for tuning in and giving me the time to just watch my PlantCon 2025 Houston coverage. I really wanted to make sure that for those that are not able to make it to PlantCon, that you have a good idea of what the PlantCon experience could be. Now, as far as my videos, they don't necessarily give the justice of what it looks like whenever you are actually going in person, because there's a couple of things that I cannot emulate in a video coverage, and that would be the conversation and just being able to meet all of these plant lovers, being able to talk to the vendors themselves, and then also looking at these plants in person. So a lot of these plants, and we gotta admit, variegated plants are something that we do seek after, and with social media being such a driving force on whether we are into a plant or if we're not into a plant, it's just great to see the things that you might just see on a digital space, you can actually see in person. There were some, I would say, tourist attraction plants. There was a Monstera White Devil again that made its appearance to this show, and that is a sight to behold. But in terms of all of these philodendrons, you can see that it is flashing. I think they had one of the bulbs just kind of flash around here. It's giving that disco vibe. But if you see on the very left-hand corner, that massive plant, do you know that that is actually a Syngonium? So it's a uncommon Syngonium. I would say that this Syngonium, as much as I want to be able to grow it, I've tried to grow it in the past. It's one of those Syngoniums that tends to be a little bit more finicky. But if you have the conditions to be able to grow that Syngonium markii, it will turn out to be something beautiful like this. It doesn't even look like a typical Syngonium. It does require higher humidity, and you know, Nirvana Tropicals, they actually had a mature specimen of a plant, and to me that is just amazing, and it just brings me so much joy to be able to feature that. And so I'm taking just a little bit more time, slowing it down a little bit for all of our viewers today, because when you talk about a vendor that has amazing aroids, Nirvana Tropicals is another vendor that I would highly recommend looking for whenever you go to PlantCon or just any plant show. You need to go ahead and make sure you are following them on their socials, leave comments, let them know you are a plant foldie. You know, plant foldies, I know a lot of you guys are more of the mature crowd, so you may not necessarily be on Instagram. I don't mind that, but if you are on Instagram, let's show the positivity and power of the plant foldie community, because just meeting you guys in person, I mean, it was just our own little plant party. Hopefully for the Dallas PlantCon 2025, we are trying to create a huge plant foldie / cultivators meetup, maybe a day before actual PlantCon. We're thinking about doing it at Pita's Planter, so that's something we're going to coordinate. If you are interested in attending or joining or even helping with the planning, please leave a comment in the comment section. Hit us up, send us a direct message. Again, my Instagram handle is @growfolds, and if you are a vendor and I wasn't able to feature you on one of my videos at PlantCon, I do apologize, but please don't hesitate to send me a direct message, because I like to coordinate with a lot of the vendors, especially the ones at PlantCon. The fact that I'm able to just feature a lot of these plants, you know, really create that awareness, it's very important for me. And I just want the plant foldies to just see these amazing plants. So you have to bear with me. If you are new, you probably might even just swipe away and not watch my videos. Just know, and you guys plant foldies, you already know, I love to talk. I love to be repetitive, and I love to show Aglaonema, but I'm really trying hard to not bore you guys. So I'm going to be showing some more of these different types of philodendrons and things of that nature. So let's take a look at the rest of the Nirvana Tropicals plants. just see the stunning beauty of all of these philodendrons. So this is that philodendron Nirvana hybrid. And can you see that it is only $75 for this massive plant? Now, with any type of philodendrons that have that high yellow variegation, you really want to make sure that you are providing it with lots of bright indirect light. Otherwise, you may not get that beautiful coloration. Now, as far as Nirvana hybrids, these are plants that are pretty cost effective as well. So if you are interested, you most likely can just send a direct message on Nirvana Tropicals. Instagram, they're pretty fast about responding. And so I'm going to just walk around and show you the plants. It is a little bit slower, so hopefully you guys can also enjoy the track. The dance track that I have is actually created by my friend who is a DJ. His name is DJ Bang Beats, so definitely check out his website, djbangbeats.com. He is a Houston-based DJ, and he's the one who has graciously been able to create some of these tracks for my YouTube videos. So shout out again to him, and just shout out again to the Nirvana Tropicals booth right over here at PlantCon. The next booth we are going to be looking at is Rena's Greenhouse, which is a Filipino-owned business based out in Florida. So Ate Rena is actually one of my good friends, and she always brings some amazing plants. So she has a humble setup right here. You can see she's brought some Aglaonema, she's got some Syngonium, she's got some variegated philodendrons, some really hard to find Monsteras, awesome Scindapsus, and Epipremnum panatums right over here. But let me go ahead and pull up these Aglaonemas, for instance. So Aglaonema Lotus Delight. So instead of having to import the Aglaonema Lotus Delight, you can actually buy it from Rena's Greenhouse for an affordable price. You can see that is my Ate Rena right over here. And again, I'm going to go feature this right here, Aglaonema Lotus Delight. Look how beautiful the coloration is on this plant. And then also Aglaonema Kanza. Aglaonema Kanza is absolutely stunning. I am hoping to get another Aglaonema Kanza. Now with the Aglaonema Lotus Delight and Aglaonema Kanza, those are created by a famous Indonesian hybridizer by the name of Greg Hambali. He has already passed away, but his legacy continues with his daughter. And, you know, I am always trying to search for Aglaonema hybrids by Greg Hambali. And then you can see over here, plant foldies. Let's just keep walking around here, and you can see all of the other rare and uncommon plants that Rena's Greenhouse has. She does have an Etsy shop. I believe she sells on Palm Street. But if you are not following her on Instagram, follow her on Instagram at Rena's Greenhouse, and you should be able to send her a direct message. And she is also able to ship some of these plants. So if you are wanting to support a fellow kababayan means countryman in Filipino, definitely support my Ate Rena, or the way I would say it is my older sister. I consider her like a sister with her plant shop, because I mean, look at this. She's got some amazing plants. And like I said, again, when it comes to PlantCon, there are a lot of Filipino owned businesses out at PlantCon. And you know, a lot of these plants, like I said, again, are endemic or are sourced out from the Philippines. So if you are a Filipino American, if you are Filipino, please leave in the comment section. Leave me some comments in Filipino as well. Let's celebrate our kababayan spirit on this video. And as you can see right here, variegated coffee plants. So this is actually one of the plants that I wanted to get from my Ate Rena. This one is for $125. Look at how cool that is. And she always has some unique plants available whenever I go to PlantCon. And you cannot ignore all of these gorgeous Aglaonema. This one is an Aglaonema Gold Pink in a 4-inch planter. Look at how stunning that is. And I have to ask anybody that has never really gotten into Aglaonemas, if for some reason, you know, my video was recommended to you, first of all, thank you again for tuning in. But this Aglaonema Kanza for $65, that is such an amazing price, considering this is one of those hard to find Aglaonema. I definitely want to get another Aglaonema Kanza. I have one in my collection. I got it from 365 Hydroponics at PlantCon Orlando. Orlando, but this is another one that I'm probably going to go ahead and send a direct message to my Ate Rena, because she has some amazing Aglaonemas. Again, plant foldies. Can we trend Aglaonema? Can we talk about Aglaonema? Can we make videos about Aglaonema? Can we just tell everybody Aglaonema is like the best plant to collect ever? Or am I just a crazy one that just wants to keep talking about it? I mean, look at this Aglaonema Lotus Delight. Tell me that there is not another plant that has that beautiful pink coloration. Well, maybe right next to it is that Syngonium Strawberry Ice Galaxy. So Steven ended up getting one of these Syngonium Strawberry Ice Galaxy. I am just happy that one of my Cultivation Corner Plant podcast mates ended up buying from Rena's greenhouse, because even though she didn't have the biggest plant booth, sometimes it's not always the size of the booth, but the impact of the plants and the person behind the plants that really draws people in. And, you know, as far as PlantCon 2025 in Houston, I wish I was able to really feature a lot of the plant vendors. There was just so many to feature, and so I regret not being able to feature a lot of the plants. But you know what? There were a lot of content creators and people out there that were taking videos, and hopefully with our collective community of content creators, we're able to feature a lot of these vendors, because every single vendor at PlantCon Houston deserves to shine. I mean, look at this. Philodendron, Jopii Mint. That is another unicorn plant. And then she also has some more rare and uncommon Monsteras. But I did want to spin around here again. I'm just always happy to see my Ate Rena, Rena's Greenhouse. Mark that on your Instagram pages, guys. Definitely support at Rena's Greenhouse. Buy all her plants, because look at this. Look at all of these plants that she has, and she had a lot of plants that were super cost effective, which is always a plus, right? Because we're always looking on ways to manage our finances. I will be quite honest, I ended up spending quite a bit of money on all of the plants that I ended up acquiring at PlantCon Houston, because, you know, PlantCon Houston has international vendors, and we'll get into that in a minute. But basically, you can always get these plants imported and just do a pickup at PlantCon versus having to have it shipped directly to your doorstep, which is always a plus. But I did go overboard with my plant haul. I know that you guys saw this. And then Grow Violet Nursery. This is another nursery that I regret not really going into detail on all of the plants, because this Houston-based nursery has a bunch of cool plants, like this variegated hibiscus that I would totally have bought. I was just very overwhelmed in a good way to see all of these plants. But you guys always know that whenever I go big box store plant shopping at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, I always talk about coleus plants, and they actually had an amazing coleus plant that was braided into a tree form. You can see right over there in that far left corner, but you can see that coleus plants are another plant that a lot of people overlook. Not a lot of people consider this as a house plant, but this is a plant you can grow indoors and can grow indoors long term. I mean, look at how beautiful the leaves are. I suppose everybody has their own different niche when it comes to plants, but I love the fact that this particular vendor had something a little bit more unique. And then let's talk about Cultivar. So Cultivar is a rare tropical plant shop. They used to have a brick and mortar shop in Houston. This is another Filipino-owned business, family business. And what I love about Cultivar, see, with Ate Marie and all of these folks, is that they have these plants. Every single one of these plants are grown in-house, propagated, and taken care of. So they've got a lot of beautiful Monstera albos. That is really what they were known for the longest time, but they've also expanded to different types of Philodendrons, Scindapsus, Syngoniums, Hoyas, and Anthuriums. I mean, you can't have a rare plant shop and not have an Anthurium, although I honestly wish Cultivar would carry some Aglaonemas. That's something that I'm going to give some feedback for. But if you want amazing, really good genetics in terms of Monsteras, definitely get the Monstera albos from Cultivar. They do live selling, I believe, on Instagram. They do purges on their Facebook. Again, this is another Filipino-owned business, and call me crazy or call me partial or biased, but yes, I do want to represent Philippines. It is always about trying to represent these, these people that you can really relate to. I mean, as far as the love for plants, the Filipino community, I didn't even realize there were a lot of plant content creators that were Filipino. I know Junie Plants was there. So shout out to Junie Plants. Thank you for raising our flag on the plant stage and just seeing all of these vendors. But Monstera albo, y'all, let's take a look at how gorgeous these Monstera albos are. And as far as cultivar, even though they don't have a brick and mortar shop, definitely check out their plant purges on their Facebook page. And if you want to try some amazing Filipino food or Filipino cuisine, go to Patis at Toyo, which is Patis and Toyo. It's their family-owned Filipino restaurant that is located out in Houston. But you can see right here, I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the other plants that Cultivar has on sale at PlantCon 2025 in Houston, Texas. I'm hoping that they will also be at the Texas Aroid show whenever that actually pops up, because I love supporting all the shows. I am always willing to travel and feature a lot of these shows. I regret that I'm not able to make some of the other shows, but with my current job, I work every other weekend, and if it's my weekend to work, it's very challenging to actually get time off. This PlantCon actually landed on my weekend to work, so I was very gracious that my boss was able to at least give me that Saturday, because I really don't want to miss PlantCon. Who wants to miss PlantCon, right? But anyways, let's continue to look at some of these plants here. You can see that they've got some variegated Monstera Adansonii at Cultivar and some really healthy plants, cost-effective plants. Please buy from Cultivar. So another vendor that I absolutely love would be D&M Secret Garden. This is run by May, and May's booth is actually super unique because it features the Teruno World Series pothos. So these are a lot of the Japanese pothos that are super uncommon, and you can even see that it still has the original Teruno pothos signage. Like this one right here looks like a Manjula pothos, but there's some uniqueness to it. This is called Epipremnum aureum status, and then this one right over here is Epipremnum aureum excellent. So it is more of a narrow leaf shape of a pearls and jade pothos. The story of the Teruno pothos, it's really amazing because a lot of these plants are literally just genetic mutations of these pothos plants that have been propagated and stabilized to the point where they have enough numbers to actually create it into another cultivar. The thing about, a lot of these Teruno World Series pothos is they are still quite pricey because they're still very much so uncommon. I mean, you can see right here, Epipremnum aureum lime compacta. So it's a more small leaf shape of almost like a neon pothos. So a lot of the minute details of a particular pothos plant, you can really see that in the Japanese pothos, whether it's the texture or bumpiness of the leaves, the variegation, the coloration. I love it, and I just love the minute details and care that it's there. I eventually want to get all of the Teruno World pothos. So in terms of, plants that I want to collect, obviously Aglaonema is going to be my number one plant that I want to collect, but I also want to collect pothos plants. Most people will attribute pothos plants as being a plant that's a little bit more common. The thing about it is, a plant that is common doesn't necessarily make it any less valuable than a plant that is rare. It is all about how the plant brings you joy, whether the plant is actually going to require you to really take care of it. I would say even the more rare or more sought after plants, there's a lot of care that's placed into it. So for your variegated alocasias, for instance, monsteras, etc., you're going to need humidifiers, a special type of lighting condition. So for these pothos plants, while people will say it's just a pothos plant, the Teruno World Series pothos, it is absolutely amazing. I love the fact that D&M Secret Garden is one of the most unique vendors that you will find at any plant show because they specialize specifically at Japanese pothos. There are other types of philodendron Epipremnum pinnatum, for instance. So she does have a couple of these as well. And Steven was really impressed with me. So he was walking around. Steven is my co-host from the Cultivation Corner Plant podcast. If you guys don't know, please actually subscribe to his YouTube channel at I Live Plants. He also has some amazing content. And we were just talking about how these plants are just collector items, and hopefully more people will get into that. I just know that when it comes to plants, I really do gravitate toward easy care plants, plants that are not going to require you to put so much time to invest. I mean, for me, I really do look at it as I look at these rare and uncommon plants. How much time do you really have that you can invest into these plants? If you are fortunate to have enough time to really make sure that you are staying on top of the watering conditions, the pest control, making sure that you're using great substrates like Classy Rabbit soil. I'll go ahead and plug in Classy Rabbit soil again. If you're able to do that, then you are definitely one of the fortunate ones, because even though a lot of these plants are attractive and beautiful, just know that for every plant that you put into your home, that is another plant that is going to take up some time for you to grow. But as far as all of these Epipremnum aureums or pothos plants, I need this in my life. I definitely want to get this Puncine Manjula pothos, and I also like the True Silver Philodendrons that she has. I'll definitely have to send a direct message to May, and I'm just glad that she continues to make Taruno pothos available for the US market, because that is a little bit challenging. Now, I will say, as far as pothos, they tend to be easy to propagate. So it is only a matter of time until these plants actually become a little bit more readily available. The thing about it is, Taruno pothos, I know that May of D&M Secret Garden actually has the rights to be able to sell these patented pothos plants. So, these are not plants that you can just typically find at a big box store. Although I would say that the Taruno pothos that have made it through Costa Farms would be the Champs Ulysses pothos, the what else do they have? They have the Shangri-La pothos, and hopefully we'll see some more out there. But as far as, plants, she did also bring some caladiums. So caladiums are another alternative plant that is so a house plant that you can actually make as an adaptable house plant. Typically people grow caladiums outdoors, but look at how beautiful that is. D&M Secret Garden. Follow D&M Secret Garden on Instagram so you can actually follow the journey of pothos plants. So we'll continue to just look at some of these and then move on to the next vendor. If you made it this far into the video and you have not pressed the thumbs up or like button for this video, please do so. It definitely helps support this channel, but more so it helps push this content out to more plant lovers like yourself. And all I want is for everybody to see all of these vendors. And the next vendor is the Texas Plant Collection, which I believe is located out in Bryan, Texas. So they've got a bunch of amazing different types of aroids, variegated Monstera variegated philodendrons, like this philodendron caramel marble, which is actually not priced bad at all for a starter philodendron. So as far as cost effectiveness of some of these more rare and uncommon philodendron, Texas Connection actually has a lot to pick from. And that's the reason why, if you are debating on whether you're going to go to a plant con, please save your money, get yourself a plane ticket, get yourself a hotel. It is definitely worth it. If it's not just for the plants, it's definitely for the camaraderie and just the good vibes that you will get at plant con. I always tell people this: the positivity and the good vibes you present, it's going to welcome that same type of energy. And for all of the plant foldies, for all of you guys that have actually approached me, Steven, and my friend Janae of Cultivation Corner, thank you guys again for really engaging and letting us know how much you appreciate our work. It is through the viewers that watch our content. It's what makes us really inspired to continue to make these videos. And for me, PlantCon holds a special place in my heart, because a lot of these vendors I've been able to get to meet and get to know over the past year and a half of covering PlantCon videos. And hopefully you guys appreciate my long format PlantCon videos. I know that the trend is more short format content, more TikTok stuff, Instagram stuff, but I'm pretty much old school. You know, I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 82. So this year I'll be 43. But you know what? I love the fact that I can have a full-on dialogue with you guys to show you guys these plants. So let's enjoy all of these variegated plants from Texas Plant Connection. Never seen some variegated Aglaonema, take a look at this Aglaonema right here. This is another one that I want. This one's for $89.99. I can never have enough Aglaonemas, and you know, there are variegated Aglaonemas. Take a look at this one right here. It looks like more of like a variegated Maria. Beautiful plant. And I say again, if anything, if you haven't already caught on, I love Aglaonema. I have a campaign to use the hashtag popularize Aglaonema, so definitely get into that. And so the next vendor is Carnivero, which is an Austin-based nursery, and this is actually my brother Aton's good friend from college, Drew Martinez. He has some amazing carnivorous plants, but in addition to carnivorous plants, which is what he's really known for, he has a ton of amazing Anthuriums and different types of tropical plants. He has a nice tissue culture lab that I was able to visit and see for myself. And so in terms of Carnivero, please make sure you are following them on Instagram. Drew does a lot of Instagram sales, and he recently just opened up a storefront for Carnivero plants in Austin, Texas. I definitely want to connect with him. We talked about connecting and seeing his storefront. I want to visit Austin, Texas, because I love Austin, Texas. That's where I actually have a lot of memories. I've been able to really see that city. There's so many good things to do in Austin, Texas. So I may have to take a weekend trip there to feature Carnivero storefront. You know, in terms of just these local brick and mortar shops, these local nurseries, as much as I do big box store plant shopping videos, for the plant foldies that have followed my journey on YouTube, know that I also encourage everybody to support small businesses and local nurseries. I always say, don't limit yourself in just buying plants at, say, a big box store. It is okay to buy plants at a big box store. It does not mean that you're taking away business from all of these amazing local businesses, plant vendors, just because not everybody has the opportunity to, say, go to PlantCon and buy these plants. But I also say diversify your collection of plants by finding different diverse sources to buy plants. So for instance, Carnivero has some amazing carnivorous plants. They're cost effective. They've got a website, they've got a storefront, they do Instagram sales, they're able to ship. They've got more than just carnivorous plants, although I had a couple of friends buy some pitcher plants, so that is super exciting as well. But the next video, vendors I will show you are just going to come around, but you can see how busy it got at PlantCon 2025 in Houston, Texas. Huge turnout. And again, I did want to shout out Kenny and his team, the PlantCon staff. You guys were amazing. All of the vendors were definitely amazing, and also the volunteers. So if you did volunteer at PlantCon, thanks again.
Hey guys, I'm Janae from Janae Simone.
I'm Steve from I Love Plants.
And I am Richie from Grow Folds, and we are
Cultivation Corner. We are so excited. We have a plant podcast. We talk about any and everything, all things plants, and we premiere every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube at cultivation_corner. So be sure to tune in and watch us.
Follow us also on Instagram, and be sure to share our videos and our episodes with all of you plant lovers. We need more cultivators, right,
Yes.
Steve?
Yes, we do. So what are you going to do? You're going to share the video. That's
have
what you're
to.
gonna do.
Have to. Today. All right,
Today.
guys. We'll see you on the next one.
All right.
You want to know where I got a lot of my plants from? It came from Art Garden Flowers. Follow artgarden.flowers on Instagram. This is my friend Riki, who is actually an air cargo nursery out in Indonesia. And you can see all of these plants were flown in from Indonesia. They also offered me some ube pastry, which is a Filipino pastry. But you can see right here, Anthurium, variegated Anthuriums. Shout out to all of my friends that actually pre-ordered from Art Garden Flowers. I really need you guys to support Art Garden Flowers. He was one of the first international vendors to pop up at these plant shows in the United States. He does a lot of plant shows throughout the world, and he actually has a YouTube channel explaining the process of being able to get that. And you can see right here my good friend Plant Foldy Carla's Aglaonema haul. So I ended up plant influencing her to get the Kanza and the Lotus Delight from Rena's greenhouse. But Rena's greenhouse is always right next to Art Garden Flowers. I love Art Garden Flowers. You saw my plant haul from Art Garden Flowers. I'll still have some more plant haul videos from PlantCon throughout the week, so please check that out. But as you can see right here, these plants are actually flown in from Indonesia to their broker out in Florida. And then, you know, as far as these plants, if you're looking for Anthurium, if you're looking for variegated Anthurium, Philodendron, rare types of Hoyas, and in my case, Riki was so kind enough to source out some Aglaonema from Amani Jungle. Also follow Amani Jungle on Instagram for that. Nanai's Happy Place. So this is the first time I've ever seen this vendor. Nanai's Happy Place is actually another, you guessed it, Filipino-owned business. This one right here is another vendor from out of state. Nanay means mother, so Mother's Happy Place. And you know, as far as Mother's Happy Place, this is another gorgeous vendor with lots of cost-effective plants. You could see that I had to feature Aglaonema. I mean, pretty much all of the Filipino-owned businesses talk about Aglaonema as one of their favorite plants. It's something about Aglaonema, these colorful leaves, these leaves that I feel like you guys may not be into, but I really need people to take a second look at these beautiful plants. I mean, these plants are low light tolerant and drought tolerant. They do prefer more bright indirect light, especially the more colorful varieties like this Aglaonema Fortune, which unfortunately I did not end up buying. You know, I was really needing to buy more Aglaonemas. You know, somebody asked me how many Aglaonemas I have. I definitely have more than 100 plus Aglaonema varieties, and it is growing by the millisecond. I mean, I'm always sourcing these Aglaonema from many different vendors. Nanai's Happy Place is another vendor that I was happy to have run into because they actually had some pretty cost-effective Aglaonema. You can take a look at this one right here, this Aglaonema Jolie, beautiful Aglaonema, another one that gets fairly large leaves. And you know, as far as these Aglaonema, at least for Nanai's Happy Place, I believe these are not fresh imports. These are plants that have actually been growing for quite a while in the United States, and only for $38. That is a really good plant price for these Aglaonema. My hope is, especially for those that have watched my video, and I'm hoping that you guys are pressing the thumbs up or like button for this video. I did want to call out for anybody that wants to put that negativity. If you're going to press the dislike button, why press the dislike button for this video when you can just silently not engage? So I just wanted to put that out there. And I would say Nanai's Happy Place had a person that wanted to actually model the Aglaonema. So, you know, it's always good to just talk to the vendors and just see the excitement of being part of a plant show. I hope that there are more plant shows available in the United States. I happen to be in the state of Texas, where there is a huge plant community, especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I mean, you can see right here some more Aglaonemas. Please leave in the comment section if you are considering buying an Aglaonema, growing Aglaonema in your plant collection because of PlantCon. I'm hoping that more of you guys will get into it because as you guys know, I have a legitimate plant addiction. I am addicted to Aglaonema. It is somewhat of a problem, not a troublesome problem, but it is definitely a problem. And they always say with any type of addiction, you know, recognizing it is the first step to recovery. But I don't know if I really want to recover from my Aglaonema plant addiction. Plant Foldies, leave in the comment section your thoughts about that, and let me know in the comment section what you think about some of the vendors I've featured. I hope you guys will take the time to leave some positive comments for the vendors, the plants, And hopefully you guys will join us for the big plant party out in Dallas, Texas for the Dallas Plant Con. I mean, I always am partial to my hometown. I wouldn't even say hometown, the place I live at, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I mean, you can see though for Nana's Happy Place, they've got a variety of different types of plants, Syngoniums, Hoyas, Philodendron, Aglaonemas, Monsteras, like that Syngonium pink splash, Thai pink splash is beautiful, and even more Hoyas. You know, that's the thing about it is Hoyas, that's another big button plant that a lot of people like. And as I pass through Art Garden Flowers, again, I wanted to say thank you so much to Riki for getting a lot of my plants sourced. Thank you so much to Becca, who's based out in Houston, and then Cocoa and Palm Trees. So this is another amazing plant vendor that I wish I would have stayed to take more footage of, because they have so many beautiful variegated plants. So if you're into variegated plants, this is another vendor that I would recommend. Definitely follow Cocoa and Palm Trees on Instagram. Let them know you are a plant foldie. So I'm just going to walk around here and show you what beautiful variegated plants they have available at this booth. Some recommendations I would say if you're going to plan on going to a plant con is I would invest in early access tickets if you really want to enjoy the plant show, because there are quite a bit of people. It is worth the price for it. Now, this is plantstop.us, which is basically the broker that gets a lot of these plants from Indonesia, specifically GreenspacesID and some other Indonesian nurseries. I did a huge plant pickup for some more plants from Indonesia. Thanks again to GreenspacesID for working with me in terms of getting some of the plants pre-ordered and shipped to Houston to be able to do a pickup. So if you want some of the more cost-effective plants, definitely follow at GreenspacesID. You can check out their website, but you can send them a direct message on Instagram. They're able to send you actual photos of the plant that you're getting, but you can see right here, these are all plants from Indonesia. They've got so many different varieties of Anthuriums, Monstera, lots of amazing rare and uncommon Hoyas. And if you ask them, they will be able to source out some Aglaonema as well from Indonesia. But as you can see right here, these plants are import plants. And like I said, with import plants, these plants are not plants I would recommend just buying at PlantCon, then the next day potting them up in a soil substrate. These plants need to recover from being imported. So I would always recommend taking them out of sphagnum moss, rehydrating them, and letting these plants' roots just rehydrate for at least 24 to 72 hours and assess whether the plant should go into a soil substrate, or if you're going to need to just keep the roots in water. Frequent water changes as they rehydrate. And you can see this is one of my plant hauls from GreenspacesID. They got me some jumbo plants, and you can see I have my little mask there that I wear whenever I'm on the Cultivation Corner Plant podcast. But I will feature some more of plantstop.us or GreenspacesID plants. You can see there are so many different Hoyas. GreenspacesID is another reputable international vendor. So as much as I like to promote GreenspacesID, the reason being is they've always shown kindness to me, but more so they have a reputable history of being able to send plants all over the world illegally, because you don't ever want to get plants from overseas that do not follow, at least in the United States, the USDA regulations. So it's always great to go through GreenspacesID, because you don't necessarily have to have an import license, because you're not the one importing the plants. They're going through a broker, which is PlantStop.us, which is based out in New Jersey. They take care of all of the paperwork, the phytosanitary certificate, and everything else. So that's what makes it easier. Now, if you are into importing plants, I would always say make sure you do your research in terms of your import license, all the regulations. But for me, even though I have my own import license, I would rather go through a nursery that goes through a broker. And so PlantStop.us is one of the ones that gets plants from GreenspacesID. Now, for my Hoya heads, look at these rare and uncommon Hoyas. Unfortunately, I'm not as familiar with Hoyas, but what I can tell you is you can get some cost-effective rare or uber rare Hoyas from GreenspacesID. So I'm gonna walk around here and show you what they have available. Just know I was able to source out quite a bit of plants from GreenspacesID, as well as a new vendor called Leaf Crafter. So if you are not following Leaf Crafter on Instagram, definitely check it out. Thank you to my friend of Leaf Crafter who was able to utilize PlantStop.us to get some of the plants that I am picking up. I did do one plant haul video already. Definitely check out that out, but I have a couple more plant haul videos because I got so many plants. Leave in the comment section, plant foldies, how many plants you think I got from PlantCon 2025 in Houston. I really want to know your guesses. Let's just say it's more than 20 plus plants. So definitely check that out, but you can see they've got a plethora of different types of Anthuriums and other plants. So let's take a look at what they have available here. And if you're looking for a rare and uncommon Sansevieria, these ones are actually from a nursery called Succulents Asia. These ones you can follow on Instagram, Succulent Asia or Succulents Asia. They actually sent me some succulents a little while back. I did an unboxing video review, and these are beautiful Sansevieria, or what you call snake plants. I mean, look at all of that. This is definitely not your typical snake plant you will find at a big box store. And so if you want something as unique like this, you can buy from Succulents Asia, which actually sends plants through PlantStop.us, the official broker. And I mean, look at this. Look at these beautiful variegated whale fins. beautiful, and they're not that bad price off. And these plants will actually easily acclimate. I will say with the Sansevieria, I haven't had any issues being able to acclimate them from overseas. So if you are interested or curious about the acclimation process, I do have a lot of YouTube video playlists. Feel free to go check that out. I have them separated, and I haven't talked about this, but hopefully you guys will also consider joining my YouTube membership tier for only $2.99. I call it the Super Plant Foldy tier, where I will do my personal blogs, show you some of my personal plant collection, and just have more exclusive content. It definitely helps the sustainability of my YouTube channel out. And, you know, full transparency, it is just another way for some passive income. I am hustling because, you know, these plants don't come cheap. So if you guys want to join my YouTube membership tier, it's literally like a cup of coffee or a bag of potato chips, $2.99. Please click the link, the direct link in the comment section that is pinned, or if you're watching my YouTube video on a computer, just hit the join button. I'd love for you guys to become a Super Plant Foldy. It would definitely help me out as well. But as you can see right here, again, GreenspacesID plants, all of these plants are from Indonesia, and I am just really thankful that I've been able to meet a lot of these overseas plant vendors. Look at this gorgeous Anthurium here. They even have a lot of variegated Anthuriums that they can actually sell. So definitely follow GreenspacesID, check out Succulents Asia, and definitely check out my friend Leaf Crafter on Instagram. Follow him, let him know you are a plant foldy, and let's continue to just walk around and see what other plants we have available at PlantCon. You can see whenever you go to PlantCon, there's just so many people. I will say again, if you're able to afford the early access tickets, I would highly recommend that if you don't really want to be around large crowds, because the general admission, which let people in at 10 a.m., the lines were super long, but they were moving fairly quickly. But again, you still have quite a bit of people. So for me, really happy that I was able to be one of the helpers for Pita's Planters booth. So I was able to get access to going in there super early, even earlier than the early access, to get some of that content. But it is definitely worth it. You know, PlantCon is continuing to grow, and I'm hoping that more PlantCons pop up throughout the country so more people can make it to this wonderful show. We can see more vendors, but you can see right here in terms of the plants that were definitely trending, it's definitely Anthuriums. I would say Anthuriums are the king of all of the plants. Monsteras and other Rare Variegated Philodendrons, that's really what it was, as well as Hoyas. You know, you've got your Syngoniums, your Scindapsus, your pothos plants, but I would even say the most underrated plant was the Aglaonema. But, you know, as far as that, I feel like more of us talking about Aglaonemas will really get people excited, but I can also understand why Anthuriums are a thing. I mean, look at how gorgeous these Anthuriums are. So I'm just going to walk around and showcase some of the vendors. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go do a deep dive of some of the plants for the vendors. I'm hoping next time Houston PlantCon comes around, it doesn't fall on the weekend I have to work, and I can have 2 days to film hours and hours of footage. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this, and hopefully I am able to represent and show you all of these vendors to the point where you guys will be able to support them. But as you can see right here, so many different people that you will see. You can see that this one right here was Hive's plants. This one actually had so many rare and uncommon plants at a cost-effective plant price, which we all want, right? We always want to get cost-effective plant pricing. That's really the name of the game. And so I'm just going to walk around here. Hive's Plants is also another local plant nursery out in Houston, Texas. So lots of Houston nurseries that were out for Houston Plant Con, but there were also a lot of Dallas-Fort Worth vendors. So it's just interesting how all of these vendors kind of congregate into an amazing plant show such as Plant Con 2025 in Houston, Texas. When you talk about a tourist attraction plant, the Monstera Devil Monster, which was retailing for $17,000 US, made it into this plant show, and actually somebody ended up buying it. This is one of those unicorn plants. I would say that this is a plant I may not acquire for a couple of years because it is such a pricey plant. And this particular vendor here had a lot of rare plants that when you pick up were like $1,000, $2,000. It was super rare. So when you talk about the rarest of the rares, this particular vendor had some beautiful plants. I would say tourist attraction plants. Definitely the Monstera Devil Monster. I was able to first time see this from Mike's nursery out at PlantCon Orlando, but we see that the Monstera Devil Monster made it to Houston. Are we going to see this in Dallas PlantCon? Are we going to see this in New York City PlantCon? That remains to be seen. But what I will say with this particular vendor, amazing, variegated, super rare plants. The price was quite high, but you know, if you are truly a plant collector, this particular vendor here had some unicorn plants. And you know, these are plants that you can only dream to own. I mean, there were some plants that were not super expensive, but at the end of the day, it is really the price price you are willing to pay, especially if you are willing to collect some of these plants. I mean, you can see right here some more Anthuriums. Everywhere you turn, you found an Anthurium. And I think a lot of vendors understand the plant market in terms of the plant collectors, that Anthuriums are king. And I can understand that, but I haven't gotten into Anthuriums quite yet. I have a couple. I have a Doc Block Michelle Anthurium that I got at a Home Depot. So that's a start of it. And I have a couple of Anthuriums that I ended up acquiring from GreenspacesID. But as you can see right here, lots of unicorn plants, lots of variegated Alocaceas. That's the thing. If you want to just see some of the plants that you only see on social media, on Instagram, go to PlantCon, go to a plant show. You will definitely see this. And so I'm just going to walk around here and feature these gorgeous plants again. I could afford those plants, I would have definitely considered buying it. Now we're gonna go to Classy Rabbit, the Classy Rabbit booth. So again, guys, Classy Rabbit was one of the sponsors for PlantCon 2025 in Houston. They also sponsored PlantCon in Orlando. So thank you, Classy Rabbit, for being a sponsor and just really supporting PlantCon. You can see, if you guys are curious about what the Classy Rabbit soil looks like, it's super chunky, super fast draining. It is one of the best soils I've ever used. I cannot get enough of it. And you know, Nate knows this. I'm just glad that they actually had samples of some of their other products. Again, as far as Classy Rabbit soil, please make sure you guys are checking out the website, classyrabbit.com. Put it in order. Definitely check it out. And there is a promo code. Use the promo code GROWFOLDS to get a bag of Classy Rabbit soil plus a free bag of soil conditioner whenever you do the checkout on classyrabbit.com for the bag of Classy Rabbit soil. Also add the soil bag of, no, the bag of soil conditioner is what I meant, and use the promo code GROWFOLD and you will get that soil conditioner bag for free. I have been heavily promoting Classy Rabbit soil. I'm not necessarily sponsored by them officially. It's just that whenever I find a product that really works or I really believe in, it's something that I really want to share with our viewers and subscribers. So definitely check that out. We meeting some super plant foldies here. Introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Roddy B.
Yes, he just became a super plant foldie. We are at Pita's, and look at his plant haul right over here. You got this for how much? You got it for a good price. $40. And he has been plant influenced, popularized Aglaonema, and look, he's about to go poop on his plants with the Classy Rabbit soil. Y'all got any messages for the plant foldies that are watching?
You guys are missing out on the Houston Plant Con. If you're not here, you better be here tomorrow.
Yes. Thank y'all. And huge shout out to all of the plant foldies that I met. Again, the ones that didn't even make it on the video, but just had an amazing conversation about plants. Thank you for taking the time again to just let me know how I'm doing with the plant foldie community, my content, and your just appreciation for the videos that I put out. Like I said again, it is all about the community we have at the plant foldie community on the Grow Folds channel. And you can see this is my plant haul, plant foldies, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed seeing a detailed look of PlantCon 2025 in Houston. That is my friend Carla. Janae is with me, and as you can see right here, I am walking away with a whole wagon full of plants, so stay tuned for that. As always, my name is Richie at Grow Folds. I hope you enjoyed my PlantCon video today. I'll see you on the next one.